And we are live, honey. I'm enjoying this pizza patty pie, honey. Okay. And hello. Oh, I'm sitting up here trying to digest this pie. My mouth got all wet and What's going on, everyone? Hello to all of my tea sippers, my crumpet dunkers, honey, my tea brewers, my pot stirrers, and my tea leaf readers, baby. What's going on? Hey. Thank you for joining us for another installment of Dishing Tea with Big Meat. And, so, I'm going to be eating some patty pie, honey. Yes, I am, some patty pie. Oh, this pie is scrumptious, child, scrumptious. So we're getting all that together and all of that. Let me get my banner on so that y'all know who I am, honey. This is, you are Dishing Tea with Big Meat. And my co-hosts are going to be joining me momentarily. However, I want to make sure that we get some things done and all of that. And I did not turn on this damn air. So I'm going to have to do this kind of quickly. What can I do to get y'all? Oh, child. That's all right. I'm going to come up with something so I go turn this air on so that I don't have a blank screen up in here. But nonetheless, thank you all for coming and joining in with me. Today, we got a number of things a few things I want to talk about. And I want to make sure that we make this thing happen, okay? Because today being August 20, well, not today, but the things that we're going to be talking about today, August 27th, okay, is a day that Jacksonville, Florida had endured its most heinous crime against African Americans in the city's history. That particular day in 1960 has been deemed to be Axe Handle Saturday. Okay? Now, well, for those of you who don't know what Axe Handle Saturday is, I'm going to explain that in a moment. However, I think what we need to understand is that the current administration has planned his next rally where and when? On August 27th in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, this was brought to my attention earlier today, and I was like, wait a minute, because see, now I'm starting to get into this thing to where this is too coincidental to be a coincidence. You understand what I'm saying? And oftentimes, when we see stuff like this happening, it becomes one of those kinds of things, child. It's one of those things to where I really don't know. I really don't know how to use how to gauge my barometer, because the question becomes, is this all about what folks are deemed to be mental warfare? You know, are you sitting up here basically, why are you messing with my mind? Okay. As a matter of fact, I think I might have to play that song, honey. They're going to have to excuse me because I really do feel the need to play that particular song. Okay. Why do you keep messing with my mind, Mr. Man, current administration? Okay. The question becomes, is he taunting blacks and possibly other ethnic groups into a race war? Huh? That's going to be something I want to get into with you guys today. Is he actually taunting blacks into a race war? Okay? And if so, here's the question. Who would benefit from it? Who do you believe would benefit from a race war? If we were to go into an all-out race war right now, who do you think will benefit from it? Huh? What are the ups and downs to a race war right about now? Okay, are we looking for mainstream to come in to still have its power, to still collect its powers or whatever? What exactly are we looking for, if this is at all possible? If it's not, what do you think is going on? Do you think this is some kind of collective genius idea thinking that he's, do you think he's doing this to do something different with race culture? Okay, is that what you guys think this is? I don't believe that, but if you think that this is possible, I want you to share your thoughts in the comments, okay? Because something about this just does not sit right. It's too coincidental to be a coincidence, okay? So it has me to believe that there's something that's calculated here, okay? Now, another thing that we're going to get into is, you know, when I was last on with you guys, I was solo. The other day when I was by myself, last night, Aunt Nikki joined me, and Big Red, the big guy ally, he's still in recovery, but he was able to come to the radio show this morning. So he's still working through recovery from an auto accident. But the other day when I was on and I had my rant with you guys and carrying on, Aunt Nikki today brought up a very good question, and y'all may get tired of having these particular discussions. And if you are, I'm going to ask you to bow out now, because what we have to do is we really have to force this through. And her question was, does the world believe that the LGBTQ community is a separate race of people? Okay, is it its own race? Okay, is it its own race? Because oftentimes we have heard folks say that they need to go back to where they come from. We need to put them on the island somewhere so they can just do themselves and blah, 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 blah. Is the alphabet children a separate race? Huh? Okay. Why is the need to disconnect and separate ourselves from them, or for mainstream to separate itself from the alphabet children? Why is that such a stern point of contention? Let's talk about that. And then what I want to do too, I want us to have some fun today, because all this talk could get a little heavy. And y'all do know that June is Black Music Month as well. So I want you guys to put in the comments some of the artists, some of your favorite artists, or if you have discovered some new artists who are Black or who are in, I want to stay with black artists and carry on because it's Black Music Month. But let me put it this way. I'm going to put anybody that they're playing on the radio stations now, on the urban radio stations, because I know sometimes we'll get the Robin Thicke and the Justin Timberlakes, and sometimes the Justin Bieber and all of that, Adele and all of those kids. If they play them on your favorite radio stations, okay, to celebrate Black Music Month, I need for you guys to put into the comments some of the artists that you think that we sleeping on, or introduce us, because I'm going to tell y'all now, there's a number of newfangled cats that I don't know about, okay? Because radio was different, and I don't necessarily like streaming music because, Spotify and all that kind of stuff, I really don't get into like that, okay? And I just don't. I don't, call me old-fashioned or whatever, but I'm into the CDs. I still have a whole collection of CDs and carrying on. And I like reading the liner notes and understanding who the background singers are and that kind of stuff. So I want you guys, put in the comments some of your favorite artists. Tell us about some songs or whatever that we need to get into. And even though we're not allowed to play some music or whatever, if you put up some of the links up in here, like some of the YouTube links, I'm going to see if I could cheat a little bit and go play some of the songs. Okay. Because I want us to get this. Let's have a little bit of fun, okay? Just have a little bit of fun. Why don't you? You understand? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Now, let me see what's going on over here in my stream. Okay, I'm still by myself at the moment. My co-hosts have not come in just yet, and that there is fine. So what I'm going to do here, there is a video. No, you know what? Damn it. Hold on. Because what I want to do is this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with some Black music. And I'm going to play this particular song that I want all of you to consider It's an older song, and I don't know if you guys know this particular group, okay? However, let's get into this song right here, okay? So hopefully, again, you know, for those of y'all who are listening and carrying on, oh, wait, no. Let me do this. I want to share this page and let this place, I go turn on the damn air, okay? So we're going to let this play, and then y'all tell me about this song. This here is Crystal, honey. I Might Fall in Love with You. Yes, that's Miss Crystal, baby. I might fall in love with you. Now that there, again, celebrating Black Music Month and carrying on, that there is one of the artists that I truly believe that we need to get into, honey. I think that is from 1900, and I want to say 89. I got to look that up, okay? But we're going to get all off into this. And again, I was telling you guys earlier that we're in this thing, honey. August 27th is another one of those dark days that we have in African American history here in this country. Particularly, the date and time was 1960. And we go to Jacksonville, Florida, where the children were together and they were doing peaceful protesting and carrying on with the NAACP. And this was the youth council of the NAACP. And the children, you know, doing their thing and carrying on. But then all of a sudden, you know, as it got late in the evening or whatever, there was this monstrosity of a horror where a lot of people were beaten and maimed, and some were killed, and this, that, and the other, in what they call Axe Handle Saturday. Let me read to y'all what this is, and we're going to get into this, okay? Axe Handle Saturday. Actually, let me see. I want to share the screen so that you guys can see some of the images and things that are here. And then we're going to go from there. I'm going to read this from, is this the headlines? Oh, okay. This here is this is a headline from September 2nd, 2014, when this was published. And this particular article was in the Florida Today newspaper, and they were reminiscing on the 1960 youth protest that turned violent. It says, Jacksonville mob incident known as Axe Handle Saturday. Now, I want y'all to catch this now. Okay. It says, more than 200 white people wielded baseball bats and axe handles, chased Black citizens through the streets of downtown Jacksonville, trying to beat them into submission. It was August 27, 1960, a day that became known as Axe Handle Saturday. The violent attacks was in response to peaceful lunch counter demonstrations organized by the Jacksonville Youth Council of the NAACP, also known as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The attack began with white people spitting on the protesters and yelling racial slurs at them. When the young demonstrators held their resolve, they were beaten with wooden handles that had not had metal axe heads attached. While the violence was first aimed at the lunch counter demonstrators, it quickly escalated to include any Black person inside of a white mob. Police stood by idly, watching the beatings until members of the Black street gang called the Boomerangs attempted to protect those being attacked. At that point, police nightsticks joined the baseball bats and axe handles. Bloodied and battered victims of the vicious beatings fled to the nearby church, where they sought refuge and comfort from prayer and song. Eventually, the white mob dispersed. 16-year-old Rodney L. Hurst was president of the Jacksonville Youth Council, leading sit-ins at all-white lunch counters in Woolworths and W.J. Grant department stores to protest racial segregation. Wait a minute, I lost my spot. Okay, there we go. Hearst had written about his experiences in the award-winning book, It Was Never About a Hot Dog and a Coke. History teacher Rutledge Pearson inspired Hearst to become involved in the civil rights movement at a very early age. Hearst says Pearson was an innovative teacher who facilitated interactive classes. As we talked about wait a minute, this damn thing here. As we talk about American history, and as he gave us his insights, he would tell us freedom is not free. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, end quote. He would encourage us to join the Youth Council NAACP, which we did. Today, Rutledge A. Pearson Elementary School in Jacksonville bears the name of the teacher who influenced many young people to become leaders in the African American community. In 1959, the year before the Axe Handle Saturday, Nathan B. Forrest High School opened in Jacksonville, celebrating the memory of the first Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. As of July 1st, 2014, the name has been changed to Westside High School. Racial segregation and overt racism has been building tension in Jacksonville for decades. In his book, wait a minute, I'm sorry, wait a minute, what the hell? I'm sorry, y'all, hold on, I lost my spot. And I'm trying to do something with this damn phone. Something that just happened with my phone. Okay. There we go. Where was I? I'm gonna start here. Racial segregation and overt racism has been building tensions in Jacksonville for decades. In his book, Hearst places his personal story as a young activist into the larger historical context of the civil rights movement. Jacksonville was a mess, not unlike a lot of other southern cities, Hearst said. It is believed that the Ku Klux Klan organized the violence of Axe Handle Saturday. The intent was to scare, intimidate, and bring physical harm, Hearst said. Many times you cannot draw a line between the Klan and law enforcement because law enforcement were at least accomplices to a lot of the things that the Klan did. While the events of Axe Handle Saturday were documented in Life magazine and newspapers from major cities across the country, reporters from the Jacksonville Times-Union and the Jacksonville Journal were not allowed to cover the story. Some of the people in the city are now more willing to explore its painful past. In 2010, the University of North Florida opened the exhibit 50 years later, Revisiting Axe Handle Saturday in Jacksonville, Florida. The photography exhibits begins with an image of 4 axe handles against a stark white background. The viewer is challenged to think about what it would feel like to be attacked with one of those solid pieces of wood. Historic photos from Hearst books are displayed. What's exciting about this exhibit for me is that it's on a university campus with a lot of young people, a lot of inquiring minds, Hearst said. And if a university does nothing else, it should develop independent thinkers. Since 1960, great strides have been taken have been made in the fight for racial equality. As contemporary headlines too often reminds us, there is still a long way to go. All right. So now, having read this and you're hearing this, what does that mean to you? Okay, because here we have this history here of what this particular date, and we have the significance and the importance of why it is here. Why is it that this man that so many of y'all love to follow, and so many of y'all believe that he's the best thing for this country, so many of y'all believe that he is doing the right thing, and I'm trying to understand how. Okay, I need for somebody to really put it into words. Y'all have not put it into words yet. Okay, what he has done and what he has really, how the country has really benefited from his leadership or lack thereof. Because I beg to differ that there's any leadership here. At the same time, I ask you about the whole thing of his leadership. Okay. And why is it that he wants to go here? Now, we just come off of the heels of the whole thing with Juneteenth. And that was no coincidence, because as a business person, he knew about Black Wall Street. He knew the importance of that. And I'm jerking and carrying on because I got a crook in my neck. That didn't look right. He knew the significance of what all of this is supposed to mean. So why are we not, or people in his camp are not in his ear, or why are they insisting or letting him insist on creating such tensions? Because just like we just did and looked this up, I'm sure somebody's going to bring it to their attention and be like, okay, what is this? Why are you intentionally going to these places where there has been racial tension and racial upset? Are you trying or attempting to start a race war? Is that what this is all about? Are we looking for us to become the angry Negroes like they want us to be from back in the day? See, here's my thing. And I'm gonna say this because during President Obama's administration, oftentimes everybody was looking for him to become the angry Black man. They were looking for him to cuss somebody out. They were looking for Michelle to come from the South Side of Chicago and get real ghetto and get real punkified and all that old stupid shit that a lot of people have come to allow and accept as the narrative as us as Black folks. Okay. Why is it that someone from his camp, how come a Candace Owens or any of his Black supporters have come to him and said, look, that's not a cool idea. You don't want to go down there on that date. And again, how come the pressure is not there? Now that we know this, are we going to get on him and be like, no, don't go down there doing all that craziness? Because we all know at his rallies what happens. He strikes up his particular brand of folk, don't he? He speaks to all of those who believe in carrying the Confederate flag. He speaks to all of those who believe his slogan is "Make America Great Again," and and a lot of folks, he end up speaking to those people who believe that there is some truth to his rhetoric. Okay, I like that. Okay, Tracy, I like that. I'm gonna put it up here in a minute. He believes in all of this, and yet he still presses the buttons and presses the issues of people and take us along this particular line. So why do we do this? And why do we as the people accept this? Why don't we challenge him? Okay. Why are we not sitting up and getting into the whole, into the matter of all this and be like, you know what? Fuck this shit because you know you're wrong. Okay. Even if, it comes to challenging him and standing up to him and dealing with all his bullshit ass rhetoric that he likes to spout out, you see that the child done wrote the book, right? Now, at one point in time, this used to be your man. Now that he done wrote this book, you tried to get the books, you tried to block the book and this, that, and the other. The court say he can write the book, and now you done got mad. Now, your niece, this is family trying to write a tell-all book, and y'all trying to stop her from writing her book. What is it about this? And yet you supporters, y'all still support him. Why? See, like I said, this is such an anti-Obama move, and I hate I don't even like bringing it up like this because Obama has been out of the office now for 3.5 years. The man can't even live a regular life anymore because this man has been throwing and been blaming Obama for everything and saying it's his fault. Shit, for the first 2.5, almost 3 years, it was Hillary's fault, and he would still bring up Hillary here and there. So now, what is it about his leadership that y'all think is so strong and y'all think is so that way? Okay, I heard somebody say today, Well, one thing I can say is that in business, my 401k just went back up. It took a dip, but now it done went back up. Well, he's a businessman. So for all of you who are business owners, and I'm talking about thriving business owners, okay, to where y'all got you still in the profit, you still in the black, you have your being in the red is not lost and carrying on. For those of you who do that, are y'all taking advantage because you're looking for him to teach y'all how to cheat y'all taxes or get out of paying y'all taxes like he did? Huh? Are y'all looking at him so y'all can understand how to get around paying abatement taxes and things that does not go to the school system and carrying on? You know what I'm saying? What is this? Because you say he's so great, but the only thing that I can see is that you as business owners and small business owners, in fact, I can't even say to small businesses because you're still waiting on your PPE. Okay, for those, was it PPP or PP, whatever it is, you know, some of y'all didn't get that. Some of the small businesses have gone out of business because of COVID, because you have not been able to recover because of the shutdown and this, that, and the other. So for those of you who still support him and think that he is good for business, what are you going to do here? And why does he still, what is he doing that still garners your support? And why is it that we are looking to go into these particular rallies on these days that wreak so much havoc into the history and into the memory of history of the black people? I call today's show Reclaiming Our History, reclaiming it. Because now y'all again, y'all want to get on LGBT and talk about LGBT has hijacked movements and this, that, and other. This man has hijacked the entire country and hijacked all of our history and is stepping on and disrespecting the legacy of what it is. How dare you sit down here and plan to go into something, go somewhere that was sacred, that the memories of Black Wall Street was so that way that you actually planned to do your rally there, and then because now the folks that came against you, you want to take credit for you want to take credit for this, that, and the third. Nicole, Aunt Nikki, yeah, we live, girl. The link is in your thing. She said, wait, we live? Girl, yeah, we live. Is you live? Ho, is you live? Shout out to T.S. Madison. That's her tagline. Okay. I'm going to bring Red up in here and I'm going to go to the comments. Red, come on up in here while I get these comments together.
What's happening?
Welcome back.
What's happening?
Welcome back, child. I'm here. Glad that you're here. Tracy said that, okay, Tracy, you said you read about you read about the story of Axe Handle Saturday. Okay, Eric, hey, Eric, you come in here and say, what's up, Pete? They're exchanging pleasantries and carrying on. Tracy said he's instigating violence and pandering to his base. Okay.
Right.
Exactly. Eric, he seemed to think we're easily misled. Okay. I could go for that too.
Okay, but everybody
almost got Obama's name in his mouth. So childish.
Childish, yeah. Right. Look at it. Right.
It's rich by stealing and corruption. Okay, Terrell. I'll give you that. I would give you that. Okay, I'll give you that. Right. They control the PPP, and it comes with certain rules and guidelines. If not, it becomes a loan. See, you know what? That's bullshit. That there is bullshit. Oh, look who we got, a Stan Mason. Hey, Stan, what's going on? Thanks for coming on up in here. Okay, Stan Mason has his own blog talk show on Blog Talk Radio as well. Stan, put your link up in there so folks will know who you are. Give you a shout out right there. Put your link up in there. He's on Saturdays, y'all. Y'all may catch me on his show and carrying on too. Okay. So this is the whole thing, children. I need for us to let's discuss this, because what happens is that oftentimes we get all lost in the sauce because we think that he done did something spectacular, fandangly do, and it don't be what it is. You understand? And on top of it, we as blacks, I think we get caught up in the okie doke of it all because we react so emotionally, but then we do nothing about it. You understand? Red, come on up in here. What do you think?
First and foremost, hello to everybody. First and foremost, okay, but I don't want to hear nothing from now Afro American that didn't vote and don't stand up and take some type of action towards Mr. 45 himself. If you're not doing nothing about the cause, then you just keep your mouth shut, stay in your corner, quarantine. Okay, that's what you need to do.
Right.
Because I hear a lot of people standing on the corner talking about this and that and what he doing and what he taking from the neighborhood and everything, but your ass was still standing on the corner when they had the preliminary vote.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, here it is, you let them come in our neighborhoods and stifle the votes, lock the doors early, limit the doggone the voting machines. Remember I told you that? They cut them in half in my area.
Okay.
All these things are to shut you down. Wherever the highest percentage of the black vote is where they was doing things like that. It's like what we call back where I'm from. It's called the overlay from underlay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it don't look like I'm doing nothing wrong and I'm playing fair. But if you won't see this, and like he said, we're easily misled. Yes, a lot of Afro-American people are easily misled because you can dangle $1,200 over here and say I'm doing something good for you. And at the same time, I'm over here destroying your neighborhood because I want to build up something that's going to allow me profits. It's going to build up my people. That's going to mess up jobs for the I can't say the middle class no more because he destroyed that.
How
and
about
blamed it on Obama.
How about that? Okay.
And blamed it on Obama.
Right. Blame it on Obama. And then when now you talking about hijacking, he done hijacked Obama's successes and made them his. Because
everything Obama
had put into place.
Everything he put in place said it was great. He came right and piggybacked and act like he did it.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that it took that long for that stuff to go through and actually doggone allocate. So don't sit here because you walking into a place where greatness has became and say you did it.
Okay.
You did not do it. Everything you signed the day you became president was a bunch of bullshit to start up to end up where we at right now.
How about that?
I'm not scared of that motherfucker. He ain't gonna throw me off a roof or fire me. Fuck him. Okay?
See?
Because I already know it is. Every time somebody go against this bastard, they miss him.
Okay. I'm looking at this from this particular perspective. Now, hold on. Let me go up here because Eric, I didn't shout Eric out. You know what? For those of y'all who are my friends and carrying on, Eric and I, we went back to high school together, and he has a podcast.
Books there,
huh? You know what? I'm not with you. There's a podcast called "Get Off My Lawn, Honey," and it's up on Spotify. He put the link down there, so y'all go and check Eric out. Eric, what days are you on, or do you just record and they can catch all of you in the archives? So let the kids know your particular what your rundown is. Okay, Tracy, what you say? In my area, they had us going to different area codes to vote after us voting at the same place for decades to confuse us and discouraging us from voting. Of course. Wait a minute. Down in Kentucky, I knew it was something I wanted to get on today. Down in Kentucky, they sat down there. They had closed and locked the doors on those children at 6 o'clock. When the polling was supposed to close, they locked those doors. And so all those folks were not able to vote. They had to go get an injunction so that they could extend the hours, because in those particular areas, they only had one polling place. They had 6,000 voters in that particular area and one polling place. One polling place. And then, of course, with all of us socially distancing and carrying on, they sat down there and shut that damn thing off and closed it off and told those children, honey, that they couldn't vote. Okay? That there is not cute. And if you want to talk about voter suppression, this here is the stuff. Black Lives Matter. Listen, it's enough of us to separate. We protesting over here. I need some of y'all to divert that and go over here. And then I need some of y'all to divert and go over here. So let's separate and split up so that we can hit this from all areas. Voter suppression is real. Now, I know these are the primaries. But if you don't get the candidate on the ballot, and I want y'all to pay attention to something. Kentucky is where that goddamn Mitch McConnell is. And he's up for re-election. Okay, now you got two Democrat children that's up against a white woman and a black man that were running for that Democrat seat to go up against him. Okay, and then they say it's Mitch McConnell's district. Got that? So it's his district that they done shut down all the polling places and all that old bullshit. And if y'all ain't pissed off about that, y'all need to listen. Then what the hell is all we? What are we fighting for? What?
Don't make no sense. If you're not gonna do nothing about it, then shut the fuck up.
How about that? Okay. This here ain't the tea. This is not this.
No vote is the other team vote.
Exactly. Stan, you say I see all these white people marching and at the rallies. But how many of them vote against our interests? Dr. King talked about the white moderate in the letter from the Birmingham jail. James Baldwin said it best. I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. You better quote Jimmy. You better quote Jimmy Baldwin. You better quote that damn Jimmy Baldwin. You understand? Because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Here, that's what it is. Wait a minute. Okay, Eric, you said you're on every Saturday. Thanks, old friends. Share your link on my page as well. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. Okay. And then you said that this is in Mitch McConnell's district. Okay. Shaking my head. We have got to get on this thing, children. Now, you know what? Here's the thing that I get tired of the fighting. And see, again, I'm wondering if this is part of this, what I see to be the start of a big, massive race war. I'm not going to even call it a civil war. I'm going to call it a race war. Because in this whole voting thing, you're shutting this down, and you're suppressing the vote. And damn, I lost my thought because Nikki just came in. I just lost my thought. It'll come back. Nikki, come on up here and talk for a minute while I think on my thoughts.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I thought we had the night off. I'm sorry.
That's two demerits. Okay.
Please, boss, don't dock my pay. I can't afford it.
Oh, you said that. You said that. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Somebody's asking for a calling number. I wish we had one here. Stan, there's no calling number here. This here's a live feed. So if you want to come in, I'm going to send you the link so you can come in and be a guest. So I'm going to send that to you. So just hold on.
Beach.
Yeah.
Remind me tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to set that up.
Okay. In here?
Oh, Lord. That's because Haji crazy.
All right. Well, cool.
Listen, we get that calling number, honey. So wait, so are we talking about the thing where when they locked the people out? They couldn't vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, your cousin.
My cousin. Listen, first of all, they lucky them people ain't bust them windows out.
Okay.
Okay? Because these people right now. And as they can see, we are not in the mood for the bullshit. So they are lucky that those people were calm enough to just be like, like, what the hell's going on? I just listen. I was fortunate enough on the day I voted. Remember, Meech, when you took me?
I took you to vote.
We went first thing in the morning, and it didn't take me that long.
Right.
I was more upset about shit like you still having Bernie Sanders' name on a ticket.
Oh, and which was another.
There are people.
Which was another thing that was a disruption down here in Georgia because Bernie had dropped out of the damn race. There was no
right.
Oh, he's the candidate. They had Bernie's name on the goddamn ballot down here for some of the folks. It wasn't no matter. I voted.
And the thing was, when you have people who don't follow politics, but they may listen to somebody like us and say, you got to get out there and vote. You got to get out there and vote. Now, in our mind, we ain't got to tell you that Bernie dropped out the race because we just believe that you already know that. However, people who don't know that see Bernie's name still on the ballot, will vote for him because it's like, I love Uncle Bernie.
Right.
And that's some messed up shit.
Yeah.
So those are votes that's just wasted.
Right.
So it can make it seem like there was no good voter turnout.
Right. That's
Exactly.
what I said. That's the overlay for the underlay. Somebody sits up all night long and figure out ways to doggone be real deceptive when it comes to voting from the Afro-American communities. Okay. That's all it is. They come up, they want to make sure that we are there smiling and everything, and with a big foot up our ass. Don't even know a foot up our ass.
How about that?
Okay. People that pay attention to detail and see what's going on. Just like I brought it to you all's attention, how the entire campaign said J.O.E. Biden, but when you went to vote, they had his whole government up there. So somebody who's not paying attention would have missed.
Wouldn't know. They would have missed it.
They have missed it because every sign, every bell and whistle that they don't allow to come through any commercials, anything, it just said Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. So when you put Joseph up there, you don't put somebody at a stifle that's not following correctly.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It was to me, that's a game.
They say we gotta vote, so I gotta get out here and they trying to give it their best shot. And because they don't know everything, they not picking the right stuff. And it's not their fault. It's just that, like you say, Red, they trying to hit us with the okie doke any way that they can, and hoping that we ain't paying attention.
Okay.
That's why
we gotta look out for the voters. We gotta look out for the voters that want to stand for something and know that we need change, but they're not educated on the political matters at hand. That's who the people we need to look out for.
Exactly.
So somebody needs to be at the lines, educating them in line.
Exactly. Now let's do what you
say
got.
That.
Okay. Let's
no, he just said it. We need somebody outside educating the people.
Right.
You might not say, you don't want to offend nobody and want to know their business, but it can be people out there that say, you need any help? You sure about what you're doing? Right. You need us to walk through anything? Right. You know what I'm saying? It can be like that. Because some people, your votes are private. I mean, my vote ain't private. I don't give a damn. All y'all need to do is
you have the right to have those conversations with people, right? Other citizens of the United States. You can use their constitution, piece of shit ass paper against them.
How about that?
Yep.
Okay, they're looking.
My vote ain't never no secret. Whoever ain't Trump, that's who the fuck I'm voting for. Period.
Hey, look, Tracy said he noticed that. What I said about that.
Okay. Now listen, we're finna bring in a guest. Mr. Stan Mason is finna come in. Now I want you guys to understand. Stan is a former police officer. He has his own blog talk radio show where he gets Stan and I have had some wonderful discussions and carrying on. He know how I feel about his pseudo daddy, Mr. Joe Brown, because he was on when I was talking to him and carrying on. We have, it's all in respect and love and carrying on. But at the same time, this man here, when I tell y'all he is truth, I mean it. Okay. So we finna get down and do some things up in here. So on this installment of Dishing Tea Entertainment, and Dishing Tea with Big Me and the crew, Nikki and the big guy, this is Mr. Stan Mason coming on up in here. Hey, Stan, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing? Appreciate y'all letting me come on in here.
Hey, I got one question. Hey, I got one question before he gets started.
What?
Stan, do you have enough accolades on that wall back there, brother?
Hey, you know what, brother? Hey, I worked 25 years as a Waco police officer in the street, and the accolades you see back there are not what they wanted to give me. It's what I earned. They had no choice. But
come on now,
on the police reform thing, and Big Meats can tell you, everybody's on board now. But I started my show 3.5 years ago.
That's right.
Well, I was still a working officer I did all 25 of my years by choice on midnight shift.
Okay.
All of them were in the hood. So I was doing all this, of course, hated by the officers in the department. They didn't like it. but I kept it real all the way up to when I retired, and we're still doing it today. But I like what y'all talking about today with voting, because I tell these brothers, Big Red, you was on point, because when you don't vote, you get the justice your no vote voted for. And like I said in the comment, I see all of these white people that are at the rallies. There's more of them than us. And when I see that, and okay, you're down for the cause, you care about what's happening with us, but then at the same time, you're going into the polling places and you're voting against our interests, which is not financial, it's survival.
Exactly.
At this point. So when I see that, I can't help it, but it makes me look at the white establishment and say, well, my wife is white. I'm not anti-white people. I trust some white people because I know them, not because they're white. And I think that, especially when we talk about issues of voting, I believe that we as Black people have got to overcome this slave mentality of somehow our condition. Okay, I'm not talking about a comfort zone. I said condition. It's not justified until enough white people show up and we look around and somehow feel, oh, we can get started now. See, like
Right.
we need them to co-sign our condition when we're guilty of some things that we can do better. But we have to understand the stumbling blocks that are in place for us. White folks put them there.
How about
And
that?
when I say white folks, I narrow it down and get specific. I'm talking about white males, because white women have no power in white society. Their job is to just look pretty. I'll keep you in handbags and you keep quiet and just make me look good. You just a pair of cufflinks with blonde hair. That's just real talk. So, the white women who went up there and wore the pussy hats and protested misogynistic men and all this stuff at the White House turned around, 63% of them voted for Trump. So that tells me I can't trust you. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, if anybody says, well, that's not all white people, I said, well, all white people didn't come to the table with all those treaties with the Indians that they broke. See, so we have to say, I did not write this history. None of us on here wrote it. Okay. You wrote this history, his story. You wrote it. You
Right.
forced me to accept it in order to graduate high school. I had no choice but to accept it. So I say, by your historical mandate that you've laid out, I didn't do it.
Right.
You have shown me and demonstrated to me that your word is worthless. Because I'll say it on here. What did James Baldwin say? I can't believe what you say because I see what you do.
Exactly.
And I think if more Black people, and this is not an anti-white speech, but I do not believe in taking our condition and chopping it up and watering it down and making it palatable for the white infrastructure to somehow accept. They designed this. So they knew what they were doing. They cooked it up in the kitchen.
Exactly.
I said it on the radio, didn't I?
Exactly.
I said they taught us everything. They said everything that we're doing. They were the full-blown instructors of everything that's happening now.
Exactly.
They taught us these things. Sometimes people have a strong enough mind to overcome the violence and the anger and the ignorance. And hey, who taught us more than to be beat, violent, and all this raping and plundering and all?
I already know. I say it all the time. You've been nothing but violent since the days you took us off the shores of the coast of West Africa. You've been nothing but violent towards us since then. And the second that we act like we might even be a little bit violent, now you scared. What you scared of? You wasn't scared when you was beating our asses. You wasn't scared when y'all was out there taking our men away from their wives and their kids and all that stuff. Like, come on now, don't get scared now. Why you scared?
You give them too much credit. We could roll it back further than slavery, because when they were sitting over there in Europe, where everybody over there was white, except for the Moors who came in and said, don't keep your farm animals in the house. This is how you take a bath. This is how you grow food. Maybe you won't get pestilence.
I talk about that all the time.
But we'll put all that aside for a second. But when they were all over there, everything over there was white. The clouds, the people, the snow, everything was. And guess what they were doing? They were fighting amongst themselves.
Exactly.
So when you take
savages.
Exactly. When you take a culture that is designed, when I hear people say the justice system is broken, the prison system is broken, the political system is broken, it's not broken. It is operating exactly like it was designed.
That's right.
How they designed it. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. I hate when people say that word. How is it broken? It wasn't broken because it was designed the way that they run it. They've been running a very tight ship.
You know, and y'all mentioned Mitch McConnell, Mr. Turkey Neck. Mitch McConnell right now has the third poorest state in this country. And they put three things in Kentucky. 3. One of them, they make Corvettes there, and I love Corvettes. 2, they run a horse race.
Yeah.
And 3, fried chicken. That's it.
That's
the only thing we know from Kentucky for. And those people there,
you're right.
Shout out to Fort Campbell in Kentucky too. We gonna leave Fort Campbell in there too. That was my husband's first duty station.
But you know, even in Kentucky though, what is amazing there is you have a disproportionate amount of white folks who are on welfare, who continually walk this line and vote against their interests. Now, if you're voting against your interests, then I have to look at you and try to figure out in my little mind, why are you voting that way?
Exactly.
So it's not about color. And basically what America is coming to grips with is the browning of America. They can't take it. It's coming. So you might as well step in.
Look, and sometimes that happen when y'all keep marrying your cousins. I'm just saying.
But you know what? When I started comedy almost 7 years ago, when I started comedy, one of my main jokes was for people to pay attention to. But it was funny. I said, I don't know why you all around here upset when you see a white man and a black woman, or a white woman and a black man walking together, and they're in a full relationship, they're married, or they got, you know, saying they building a family, a house, whatever. You get all upset and angry and all. Why? I said, because at the end of the day, they created a rule of 1%. You know what I'm saying? In a child, you automatically need to be black. So guess what? What did I say? I said, hallelujah. I walk up and I hug the couple. Do your thing, because eventually we're all going to be beige and we're going to be kumbaya on one planet.
When they say you don't get mad when you see a black man with a white girl, I don't
care about that, because at the end of the day, it is not about color. You understand what I'm saying? It's not about color. It's about accountability.
It's not about color of the skin. Remember, I
don't care about none of that.
That run this world are black, red.
Who get feedback from?
Huh?
I was getting feedback from somebody. Somebody got their live turned up too.
Oh, that's your daughter over there DJing.
She's doing her business, about to becoming the best screenwriter on the planet.
And green are the 3 colors that run this country. Black, of course, that's the only time black is good, honey, because that means your money is right. Everything lines up. It makes sense. The red is because you are in debt. Those are your liabilities, honey.
Your liabilities, honey.
And green speaks for itself. That's the land. That's the money. That's the prosperity. Those are the 3 colors that mean anything over here. And everything that we're doing, so I ask the question, is this man, Agent Orange, okay, the current administration, is he?
I talk about your uncle like that.
And I say that on purpose because for those of y'all who don't know what Agent Orange is, that there was the chemical that they had sprayed on the vets in Vietnam, and that's why a lot of our vets are coming back, and they have a lot of that chemical warfare and carrying on. They're suffering with residuals and carrying on and the fallout from all of that. And a lot of our veterans are fighting for their just due, fighting for medical benefits, fighting for housing. And let me get off of that because y'all know that incenses me. Okay. That just irates me because there's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a homeless vet in my book, and yet
you don't want to get me started. You don't want to get me started.
And carrying on, but we have allowed Agent Orange to come through, and he is setting up for some kind of war. Okay, I really believe that in his lifetime, before he gets out of office, he is trying to start some kind of war because he's been
trying the whole time.
He's been trying.
I don't think the other places are biting because they think of us as a joke anyway. We're not the big power force that we once were.
Not up under his leadership. Not
serious.
Right. They don't see us as that his leadership. He done sat down there. See, this was a conflict. I keep telling folks this all the time. This was a conflict of interest from the jump. How in the hell you leading the country and you trying to do deals? You got deals and make enemies in the damn other countries.
How you trying to lead the country when that means you would be responsible for things that are economically for us, and almost all your businesses went bankrupt? I just don't understand. I don't trust you with my money.
You know, I think Donald Trump and people like Donald Trump because there are plenty more just as bad. But I think this infrastructure came into place with one key thing, and this is in Big Meech to tell you. I be tearing preachers up, and this is what I mean. I'm 58. Okay, when I went to church on Wednesday, somebody got up and they read what's going on at the PTA meeting. Somebody else read up what happened at the city council meeting. And what happened is the black church was sold the bill of goods, fell for the okie doke when somebody said, you know, you can run it like a business tax exempt. So then the church became more of a financial center centered on the pastor and a few people.
That's right.
Okay? So then information becomes irrelevant because knowledge is power. And you don't want empowered people to sit there. You'd rather work them up into a frenzy, have a few roll on the floor and reach into their pockets. But we as black people have not held, we have some house cleaning to do too. We have not held these ministers to account because, well, he's a brother. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm trying not to do the curse draw on your show because I haven't been to the ATM.
Hold on.
You better say
whoa. Stand. Wait a minute. You know, you just now ain't touching you. Yeah. You know where I'm at, Nick, with this. You know, okay. This is one of those under the cover things. The reason these churches are not standing up and everything because they was the first to get checks to shut up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mega churches got big money to not speak on politics, to not push you in one direction or the other. All they do is
don't church and state.
But we never progress. We never progress our motive.
Exactly. One damn word since this shit started.
You're not going to hear a word. You're not going to. They got gagged.
You know, when Dr. King died, there was a race. Who's going to be the next Dr. King? Not who's going to pick up the torch and move it forward.
That's the problem.
When Johnny Cochran died, all these black attorneys want to be the next Johnny Cochran instead of just do you and be you.
That's it.
Too busy being carbon copies. Johnny Cochran was tolerated and allowed and made money. He was a good attorney. Dr. King was tolerated and allowed. Now, folks going to say, oh, no, how can you say that? Because Brother Minister Malcolm represented an alternative.
Right.
You can either deal with this one, who is willing to sit at the table, or you can deal with this one, who has his own table. Make a choice. So they had to choose one in between. But I think we fell into this lapse where we stopped looking and researching the letter from the Birmingham jail or James Baldwin and all these other things because we're more interested in what Beyonce had for breakfast or what her kids' hair looks like or what they wear. Little Cuckoo got a new CD out and, you know, I stop kids all the time. They didn't know their rights. They didn't know not one of their rights, but they'll tell you, I got rights. But then let Little Bentley have a CD. Within 20 minutes, they can sing it to you backwards.
Back and forth. Stan, let me ask you a question. Because we were talking about this. Mitch, it was like a week or so ago. We were talking to Tay, and we were talking about how they always say, "Oh, the cops need to be retrained, and they need to do this, and they need to do that." Our thing was, we had to go to college for everything, right? Except be a cop. So I was like, I don't even need them to go to school for 4 years. But can you just go get an associate's degree to learn what the law in criminal justice to actually know the law? Because I've seen so many instances, and it's usually I hate to be if you're in here, please don't think I'm starting this, but I just have to use the white people as a reference right now, sweetheart. It's usually a white cop when somebody's like when it's one of those militant people that can rattle off their rights. Right. And the white cops are dumbfounded and have no idea what the hell they talking about, but they're gonna lock their ass up anyway. And I was like, so you can't. 6 months should be the 6 months of the training should be the last part of actually teaching them. Y'all want to say police reform and police this and police that? How about y'all start a whole new damn program?
How about that?
Because for police officers that I love, that I know and care about, because now that everybody's in such an uproar, at this point, people don't care who the good cops and who the bad cops is. It's like, you a cop, I'm coming for you, because they're not scared no more. They so fed up. I don't want my friend who's been on the force for 25 damn years to go out because she's a woman and a woman of a small stature to go out and somebody try her now because y'all mad at all the cops. So what can they do?
I think the answer is, once again, we have to go back in history to pull the answer. First off, the community needs to learn the history of policing in order to force the police to understand that the history of policing has been built on runaway slave catching. That's a mentality that's ingrained that never really left. Now, we take that aside. We have to stop letting all these chiefs, and I've been sitting back listening to this, and y'all buy it because you don't know any better, because policing is a closed society. And you get the glimpse of what I talk about on the show. But when they tell you after every incident, we need more training, we need more training. Then I say this today. When black officers were first hired everywhere, they were put in the black part of town.
Right.
Nobody died until the white officers showed up to back them up. And the black officers had no guns, by the way. So when you tell me today in 2020 that it's a training issue, then I'll say to these chiefs, you send a black officer and a white officer from the same department, same shift, same squad to a training classroom. They both go in, they sit next to each other, they listen to the trainer. They come out of the class, they go back to the department. So why is it a disproportionate amount of the brutality, the violence, the shootings done by white officers? So it's not the training issue, because the black officer got it there. What you need to do is hit the brakes for a minute within policing, hit the brakes and say, well, wait a minute. We do have a problem with cultural connection, because these black officers are not having these problems in these communities and white officers are. So what are we doing? How are we hiring? How are we recruiting? What is our psychological examination about?
There we go.
How do we go to the black officers and say, can you help us? And I said this before I left Waco PD, and it pissed some people off. But I said, and I told a commander this. I said, all of you are experts on the black part of town, and none of you are black. But you won't go to black people. I said, would you leave the department? You go to work, and we are, even I would get it. God bless you for your service. Thank you, officers, blah, 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 blah. But see, when we come out of that locker room at the end of the shift, you get to just be Joe White guy. So the accolades continue to you. But then when I come out, I can't take off black. You can't undress it. So you don't know what we live with every single day in a department and in the street. And not from black people. My community.
How about the fact that white officers come into black communities and want to be all crazy and wild earth and everything, but when black officers go in the white community, they don't go shooting up their shit.
No, and you know what? And if you notice, white officers
same respect for everything as they should. And we talked about this a couple. Why can't we police our own? Like that officer down here, when he ran up on them 5 kids, people was mad that he had his gun out. But at the end of the day, that officer knew how to diffuse the situation so that none of them kids got hurt.
I've heard people talk about, what if we had a black police department? I'm going to tell you that's financially impossible. And I'll tell you why it is. There are mechanics to come into policing and expenses the taxpayers don't know that we can, you got to pay for all the equipment, all the state certified training per officer, which is not cheap. In Texas, you got to have 40 hours of certain courses, cars, equipment, maintenance, guns, attorneys, because cops are going to get sued. And here's the thing. Every officer is bonded by the city.
Right.
And that's not cheap. So when I say to us as a black community, that's a nice idea. It sounds good for people to say it. And they can spit out a bunch of incoherent facts that they can string together and sound intelligent, but they're dumb. Because the fact of the matter is, how many times we won't even shop black. So we're not going to pay for a black police department.
Look, we do as much as possible.
But how many of us don't?
I know. And they don't trust the shop black. We talk about that all the time too. You will run and white guy your money and then be hating on the black people. That was the whole purpose of doing us eating our Patty's pie today. People, you want to hate on her, but go buy everything somebody else. I don't understand. Well, I do understand it. Let me stop saying that because I know that we have been systematically trained to not trust each other, which is so ridiculous to me.
Okay.
Why do we run out and give our money to all these people who couldn't give a damn? And I always equate this. Now, you know, every city got their little Chinatown, or, you know, the Asian community or whatever.
Yeah.
They can come in all of our communities, open up everything, and we going. If you opened up a business in their community, they wouldn't buy a damn paperclip from you.
Right. Right.
I don't understand why that doesn't compute in our people's minds.
Because
that blows my mind.
New Rutin says this.
It's Noradine.
New Rutin.
You can say child if you can't say all that.
Okay, gutted from the ground up and start over. But the problem is it's difficult to change the mentality of racist or prejudiced individuals. Okay.
She's right. It is.
Okay.
Keep calling them out. Make them famous. And instead of protesting these restaurants when you get treated bad, see, we got to step the game up, and young people are showing us the way. Instead of standing out there with signs all day where you're hot and your feet hurt, all you got to do is this. If a restaurant in New York treats a sister bad and I see it down here in Atlanta, I'm going to go on Yelp or any of those other rating services, and I'm going to rate them a 1. And I'm going to share it on my Facebook. I don't care if you ate there or not. Then when you take money out of their pocket, see, that's how you got the approach.
That's all they care about. That's all they care about is that money. I sent you guys one earlier today. The lady goes in a restaurant in Baltimore, like, you know, everything is in Baltimore. But she goes in, the maitre d' says she and her son cannot come in because her son has on sports attire. Okay, her son has on like a Jordan t-shirt, some basketball shorts, and some sneakers. He said, we don't allow that attire in the restaurant. Boom, she gets her phone, pans over, little white boy in there out on the deck with his parents with same basketball shorts and a t-shirt and sneakers on. And she's saying to him, you keep saying the same thing over and over again, but I'm asking you, why is it okay for that white child who's already in there eating to be able to do this, and you're telling me that my son can't? He could never give her an answer. You know what he said? Well, you know, if you don't live that far from here, you could just go home and change. And I'm like, so listen here, dumb doorknob. You can't comprehend what this woman is. He said, well, I didn't see that. She said, well, you want me to run the tape and you want me to run it back for you? Because I can show you. But he wouldn't. See,
but that's fine because it was happening.
They say you can leave indefinitely on leave, but that's not enough for me, because you know what? Now the restaurant heads come out because now you don't want these problems from us. So we fired him. Nope, that still ain't enough for me. I don't want nobody here because that's how y'all are.
And the problem is even more frustrating than that is the fact that, you know, and I was telling the guy this the other day, I said, Black people in America, we're the only people on the face of this earth, at least I'll say in America, the only demographic who goes out to buy a phone. And you're more worried about how good the quality of the camera is than how well the phone actually works. Why? Because we have to film ourselves to stay out of jail. We've got to film our own deaths. We've got to film everything just to be existed. So what everybody else has the luxury of using as a communication device, for us, particularly Black men, we understand that you got to have your phone at the ready just in case you need to film something that's going to save you or somebody else, because our word is never good enough.
Right, right.
Never. There's another lady, and to be perfectly honest, I'm starting to get so upset to see these things, because at one minute I'll say I don't want to see him, but it's like, no, we have to look at him. The guy, he's a damn UPS driver. He's standing outside with all the packages while the other driver is taking stuff. It's like two of them, right? So they got the packages out like on the little pallet thingy. He's standing there with the stuff. The other man, I guess he was white, and he was taking the stuff like to the doors. White lady coming out, giving this man all this grief. I'm gonna call the police because you don't look like you belong here. Ma'am, he is standing there in his uniform next to the truck with, a pile full of packages out like this. And she is saying, well, we've been getting vandalized around here, and you don't look like you belong. Bitch.
Okay, say that one more time. But bitch. Oh,
what made me mad was the white guy had to come up to say he with me.
Okay.
Why don't we come and tell you?
Nikki, we didn't discuss this today. We didn't discuss this today, and we're gonna do it tomorrow on the radio. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna give you a heads up. It happened to one of our own.
Who?
DJ Smack was in an incident where he was pulling out. This was yesterday, and a lady cut him off, and he was on the phone. He had his cell phone. He was pulling out, cell phone, and he did like this. And when he was coming out, he was clear. The lady cut him off, and he did like this. And he looked at her, and he said to her, he was like, "You don't lost your damn mind. You almost hit my car," with his cell phone in his hand. She picks up the phone and says, calls the police and say, this black man is pointing a gun at me, yelling at me, and screaming at me in traffic.
I know damn well they do that to my damn nephew.
Yes, they did. Now peep this.
They get it on video.
She gave the plate number because he's like, man, fuck you, lady, left. Okay, plate number. He's at home with his wife. Guess who knocks on the door?
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, come to the door. They don't have shit to saying he had no gun or nothing. And then the whole situation is he does own a weapon, but the weapon was in the trunk. Now, unless he's some type of fucking superhero ghost or something from some cartoon, okay?
And lady, everybody got time to be waving a gun at you. Like,
he had a weapon. He got the weapon locked in the box in the trunk because he been going to the range learning how to use the weapon.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
We're in that period right now of the holiday. I think they have a standard white apology that all of them read from when they get caught because they all sound the same. But I'm going to ask this to see if y'all have noticed this, because I've noticed this trend. Lately, my Facebook is flooded. I got like 50 friend requests from all white people. And, I'll go down through the profiles and look to see, are you saying anything that's relatively, that where we would be linked.
Right.
And it's become very popular now to have a black friend. We're like progressive or Allstate. We're like insurance. Because for years we used to have to throw down a white guy and we're gonna go here in case we get stopped. You say you was driving and we were okay. Now the tables are just the script is flipped, and everybody wants to tell you, well, I have a black friend, be my age. Well, we played high school football together.
Everybody excuses they got a black friend. Poor Gary Owen. Gary Owen said yesterday he was coming out the gym and he seen a guy. He said, well, first of all, he was a grown ass man on like a little bike. Like, remember the Huffies back in the day? He was grown. And he just like circling and circling. He said, now it's 97 degrees. He said that he ain't got a mask on. This man got a whole ski mask on. He said, so I'm sitting here like, oh man. He said, the guy said, you white and I'm black. I should have just fucked you up right there. He said, but then the guy looked at him and kind of, he said, I know you that funny way. He said, I ain't never been so happy to be black famous.
Oh, okay. Wait. This is two this way, and we need to put this on the shirt. Mr. Rudin says, Ku Klux Klan and Ku Klux Karen are coming out
Ooh,
and
I hate you.
Oh my God.
Ku Klux Klan and Ku
President
Klux Karen.
okay.
God damn it! You know what?
Take that down. Take that down.
Y'all can tell when my friends come in the room, can't you? Look.
But you know, nowadays it's like when you pull out your phone, it's like you pull out a cross on a vampire. You know, when you pull that phone out, you know, because they don't want to lose their job.
There was no problem.
Now here, let's do this because see, Stan, with you being here, here's something that I would love to get your perspective on. I know you covered this on your show, but here it is. I keep mentioning about the possibility of a race war. We have all of this stuff going on with the protesters, the demonstrators, the this, that, and the other. We have all this stuff going on with
Statues,
Confederate flag, and stirring up
That man,
his base.
all that stuff with that man.
What is it? What do you think should be the formula that we can get the do-gooder, the cops that everybody keeps saying, oh, there's good cops out there, there's good cops out there. What do you think should be the formula to get them to speak up and go against this blue wall of silence that we know that everybody is afraid of, that everybody keeps wanting to either protect, afraid of, or don't want to go against? And then because it's so many officers that could do this. It's so much more them than the bad ones. Why can't they rally to bring some kind of peace or uniformity somewhere so that the demonstrators and stuff can say, okay, let's make sense of this?
Okay, first off, very few officers live in the town state police.
And I knew you were going to say that because that's the one thing we're saying all the time.
Many times we'll say that.
Are removed from the media part of the problem. And people say, well, they got to work there. Yeah, but when you work there, you're being paid. So I think, and for me, you know, I don't give black officers a pass or white officers a pass. And I say this, if you're a good officer, I don't need you to tell me that. I worked in the hood. Everybody in the hood knew me. Why? Because guess what? Stan got his hair cut there. I shot there. I went to the corner store there. I was at the gym there. So everybody knew me. And I had more of the bad folks covering my back. I could come to work and they would say, Mason, don't go over this part. It's hot over there right now. Don't go here, don't go there. And by the same way, though, I never got caught up in arrest statistics and all. It's your job not to get caught. It was my job to catch you. And everybody knew I had 3 rules. Don't run from me. Don't lie to me. And don't mess with no kids. I'm not going to cheat to win. I know you're standing on that corner, your pocket's full of dope, but right now I don't have reasonable, articulable facts or suspicion to put my hand in your pocket. So I could jack you up and do it and then go away and make it fit when I type in the report. But then, see, I have street credibility. See, I now have to come back. If I'm playing shady, then they're going to respect me, even if they're doing the job the wrong way. Or they're doing what they're doing. But I think that officers, I looked at the Fraternal Order of Police, their chief, and the NYPD union rep spoke out. And their words were, you know, we're not thugs and hoodlums and criminals, and you're judging all of us by a few. And I said on my show, I said, it's funny to me because black people have been saying that exact same thing about policing for 200 years. So you're actually saying now exactly what we've been telling you you were doing to us. So in other words, you've basically been going through this for 45 days, maybe 60.
For 45 days. Imagine how long we've been going.
So you've been black for a whole minute. You've lived the back for a whole minute.
Okay.
You can't take it. And we got you can change jobs and it's over with for you, but you can't come out of this. You can't take this off. So I think getting them to understand that now you have a inkling, a mere twinkle of what it's like for us every day, not just in Atlanta or Baltimore, but everywhere we go. Me and my wife, Her being white is not a pass. If we want to go back to Texas to visit, she knows there are towns we absolutely are not going to stop in.
Come on now.
Anybody black knows that. You know where you can't just jump in the car. They need a black Siri. That's what they need, because right now Siri will tell you turn left here and turn right there. You know, we need a black Siri that says,
don't go down there.
Go down a few more.
Go down there.
Coming up on the left. You know, we need a black Siri so that we can travel safely. But we can't just, any of us right now, you cannot just get in your car and say, I'm going to Miami or I'm going to Houston without, in your mind, you've already calculated, I'm not stopping here. White people don't have to do that.
Right.
Listen, going down, like I know when you're going down to Savannah or whatever, like we were going to Fort Stewart, right? When we put Molly in that program for National Guard thing. Baby, I ain't never seen that many Confederate flags in my damn life. I'm looking at the gas tank like we full, right? And I don't want to have to stop for nothing.
Because the officer asked me, he said, why was you swerving? Were you not watching the road? I'm watching the gas tank. I'm trying to get out of this car.
Listen, I'm trying to make sure I can get the hell out of here.
You know. So okay, so now let's do this, because see, you brought something up, and that there's your personal life about you being interracially married. How do you, as a black man in this climate, navigate your way through these waters? Because everybody would see, we too black for our own good at times, and everybody wants you to make a choice, you know, or want to question your blackness because you didn't marry no queen. You ain't get no black queen, so how can you be down and you ain't got the queen?
You know
how
what,
do you navigate the waters?
Brother, I just tell them, I say, you know what, you know, women are women. I traveled all over the world in the military. And you know what? My first wife was black. So no, I'm not saying all black women are bad because of her white, but I tell them this, when they ask me, well, you're not down with the cause, you this or that. I got two words I say to them. Google me.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
You better Google me, baby.
I don't want to say no more.
Okay.
Listen.
What he said?
I ain't saying nothing. I got him.
Do you have kids, Stan?
Yes, son and a daughter and a grandchild.
Oh, come on, man. Shout out to the grandkids. My grandbaby's on the plane going back home right now. How do you said, wait, you got a daughter and you got a son and a daughter? Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your conversation like? How old is he?
My son now, he's 26.
Okay. So when he was a little bit younger, did you ever have to give that talk to him about him being a black man and what to do if another officer stops you, besides tell him who your daddy is?
Right. Good.
Because you know, somebody might not give him a chance. Somebody might not give him a chance to tell who his daddy is.
We definitely had that talk, but like I said, I lived in the hood. So, you know, I mean, my kids grew up and would hear the gunshots before they heard the birds in the morning. And you know, and one of the reasons why I policed fair and cared so much about that neighborhood, which now in Waco is some of the biggest real estate that you can get because we cleaned it up, but it's because I watched my kids go from jumping when they heard a gunshot 3 blocks away to they could be playing and the guns go off, they don't even notice.
Right.
So, I mean, for me, I don't trust any profession as far as doctors, lawyers, or anybody. There are good ones, there are bad ones. But when policing has become, America created this monster because instantly you're working at Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart or wherever. Now, you go through an academy, next year you got a badge and a gun. You just walked out the door. You hadn't done nothing but just walk out the door and you're a hero. Everybody wants to pay for your food. Those are all nice things. But I would often say the only difference between me and the lady working the drive-thru at the midnight shift at Wendy's is I got a gun. Because she got to put up with a lot of knuckleheads too. So you risk your life. You risk your life. The fact of the matter is, we get paid well to take that risk. It's like an NFL player. They make a lot of money. But every time you come out of that huddle, that could be your last play.
Right.
And you're going to take that And so if you're worried about, I'm going to lose my life, if you really feel that it's that dangerous, we had the bulletproof vest and all that, but if you want to up your survivability, get out the car and meet people. People your back, because my department did not like me speaking up. They hated it and tried all manner of things. But the thing was, the community backed me. So that made a difference.
That's important. That's real important.
Go ahead. It's respect the community. It's the respect that the people will give you.
I got a question for Stan. Okay. How long you been married to your wife?
This one?
Yeah.
5 years.
5 years. In the 5 years of your marriage, have you had any outside negativity when you're in your civilian world? You know what I'm saying? When you all are together anywhere, have you had any negativity coming against you?
Oh yeah, it's cool because like for her, it's a learning thing. You got to learn Black people, and it's interesting, and it can actually be fun sometimes. But we'll go out to a restaurant or something. She'll go in, I park the car. They seat her seats. Remember I talked about the throwdown? She always gets good seats if she go in. By the time I come in, right? She'll sit down.
You using your wife.
So when I come in, I'll go sit with her. And we'll get those looks. You know how you get that look.
Yeah.
And most Black people just don't. They don't really give you the look. You get it from a lot of older white people. Or younger ones that'll look at her and be like, and then I'll come sit down and be like, oh. But it's funny because what I do then, when you can see them and when you catch them looking and they do the, you got them. So then I'll send some drinks over to them. Right? What do they drink? Give them a drink. And then when the waitress points over, that's the guy that brought them. I'll jack with people. I'll do.
Right.
Just make them mad.
Right.
Because, on the real, it's like I'll tell people this way. You know what? That electric bill coming to this house, it's a Mr. and Mrs. Mason. Not the brothers, not the sisters, not a white associates. And so, I'm not sleeping with them. They're not putting no groceries in here. Do you? You know what I'm saying? Do you?
Stan, let me ask this because in light of the police brutality that we're experiencing, and in light of or in view of folks wanting to harp on gun laws, you're coming from Waco, Texas, and Waco had that massive when the children burned the stuff up down there in Waco, Texas. Okay, coming out of that and dealing with a mass terrorist or call it an act of domestic terrorism and internalized violence and carrying on in the name of religion. Coming out of that, dealing with all of the massive shootings that we've had to deal with. And then now that we're on the precipice of what seems to be another of a race riot of a lot of folks who are buying guns. Because I know down here in Georgia, it is said that, hey, all the ammunition is out. You can't buy ammunition
is gone.
because now everybody knows what to stock up on guns and carrying on in lieu of the COVID carrying on.
When the Black people was out fighting over bleach and toilet paper, the white people was at the gun stores buying guns and ammunition.
How is it that you feel that how can you market yourself? How can you best strategize or trust people to strategize? Is that your TV?
Shared by every single. Mine was on mute.
Who is
it's somebody was.
That's Reds. There got to be Reds.
No, Reds. His mic is muted. It looked like it.
Okay, but how is it that you would get folks to get prepared? Because a lot of us, a lot of folks thinking that, they get prepared like it's okay to be in the okay corral. Everybody want to go get a gun. Everybody's saying now, Black folks, exercise your second amendment rights. Everybody needs to get strapped. Everybody needs to get strapped. But now we know that if everybody gets strapped, it's going to become a pissing contest on whose gun can outpower what. If I pull a 380 or whatever, and this got more power than that, it's going to become a pissing contest. So what do you think ought to be the best strategy that we need to implement in order for us to move forward, to be prepared for any kind of either race war or just for regular citizens to say, hey, okay, I just want to be ready. What would you say to that?
Number one, know your neighbors. A lot of us don't even know who lives 2 doors down from us.
That's damn true.
That's the first thing. And I think when people talk about a race war and all that, I understand where they're coming from, but there's a dynamic in there that nobody is really thinking about. Now, when you come from Broken Tree, Georgia, or whatever, and you got your Confederate flag and 20 people loaded in pickup trucks and you go into the hood, you got to ride through the Bloods, the Crips, the drug dealers. Now, these people ain't worried about no license. And guess what? You think you got firepower?
Okay.
Okay. Right.
So that thing went off and you feel like you in Beirut somewhere.
Right. Because what you're doing is you're actually invading their turf. Now, that's a dynamic that you hardly ever hear put into the mix. And one of the things that Black people have demonstrated in this country is that when it comes down to our survival, we build allies and alliances, and we make treaties.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't want to see anything like that happen, but it's not like you're just going to walk in and shoot a bunch of slaves that just got off the plantation and nobody has a gun. You know, you're going to have to go through ass to get ass. You're going to have to bring something.
Okay.
You know, because we could take Atlanta, for instance. I can tell you right now, there's not going to be no race war here. There's too many Black folks in Atlanta. And half their cousins up in South Carolina and Florida too. So, you know,
I was getting ready to say, and most of the people in Atlanta don't even come from Atlanta, so we coming together. It's like the New York down here, because just in our team, we got Philly, Detroit, and Chicago up in here, and we don't play them time games.
I think we need to shop more responsibly. I mean, I'm glad if you're, you know, you're my age, if you're 50 years old and you got the latest Jordans in your closet, you got an identity crisis. You know, you need to have food.
Would you please say that again for the people in the cheap seats? For the people way in the back. I'm gonna need for you to say that again.
If you're 50-year-old with Jordans on, you know, you got an identity problem. You know, when COVID came, you know, if you notice what white folks do, and I applaud them for this, because it's not about a war, it's about survival. They always had that pantry. Our grandmothers had a pantry.
That's right.
But today we're too lazy to open up a can. If we can't pop it in the microwave, we don't do it. And then we're more interested in having the latest Jordan, the Fendi bag. We want to have all that stuff. I watch folks go to a Publix here, and they got the truck check. And the line was lined up. You know what everybody was lined up at? The deli.
Right.
Chicken and subs.
Right.
So
I got one. I paid my rent with it before I touched any of my other money. I said, "Oh, he gave it to us for real," and paid my rent like 3 weeks in advance.
Okay. You know what?
All you got to do every time you shop is just say, "I'm going to take $20 this week or this however often you shop. I'm going to take $20 and I'm just going to spend this $20 on chicken noodle soup or whatever." Then the next time you go, I'm gonna spend this $20 on ramen noodles. I'm gonna spend this $20. And so, you know, by the time you get in 6 months in, you got a whole thing packed full of stuff. Yeah. And we've got to stop. Black people have to stop.
You know what?
Look, make me feel like you was in the military saying, I'm like, where the MREs at?
There you go. And
I remember the first time my husband showed me what the things did. He poured some water on it. I said, what the hell is that? It turned into a whole damn dessert. I said, now see, I don't know what kind of sorcery y'all got going on in the Army.
I am, you know, I wish that our generation in its entirety had taught our babies what we were taught. See, we're the last generation of this. The 70s babies are the last ones because we knew what it was to understand everything that we know about life. Bring your ass in before the street lights. We knew what it was to cook and clean and carry on how to make a meal. We knew what it was to go grocery shopping and be on a budget. We know what it is to have your constants in the cabinet. You, as long as you got flour, sugar, some cornmeal, some damn beans, some rice. Honey, you can always make a goddamn meal.
You always make a meal. But Stan said it too. What we had that these kids don't really have because we so selfish now. We
Right.
knew the neighbors and the neighbors knew us. And you better not be acting a fool because you're gonna get your ass whooped all the way up the street till you get
Exactly.
home, and then you're gonna get your ass whooped again because the people down the street had to whoop your ass.
I'm going to tell you,
These kids don't have the village that we had.
when
And
the
it's crazy.
village became the villain, that there signed, sealed, and delivered our fate that as we know it today. Now we have the opportunity to change that. The question is, how do we do it? Because just like the child said, these kids, they don't listen. Stan just said, we don't know our neighbors. It used to be a time where you look forward to at least know who they are. You didn't necessarily get in their business unless you were nosy, but you at least knew who they are. I live in an apartment complex, and the only thing I got a new neighbor that just moved up above me, and I got to get to them because they need to know that I'm the veteran. I've been in this girl here for 12 years. Okay. I'm the veteran. Okay.
Well, Mom told me, she said, Mom, you need to meet the neighbors. But y'all know, unless I'm going all the way out the door, I don't be at the door. So I had to have my daughter remind me, Mom, you need to meet the neighbor. He's real nice. The older man, he's like, I guess he's our age or whatever. She said, Mommy took me to the store. He's so nice. He always, he asked, is your mom okay and stuff? And I don't know the man. That's why I spoke to him before we went yesterday. Because I had never even seen the man. But we have to get back to that. And when did we go from being the parents that if you coming up to that school, your child is scared,
right?
To because remember, I don't like to say young parents because I was a young mom. I was a teenage mom. I was a teenage mom and a teenage wife. However, I was never that one of it. Not my kids, not my kids. Now you got the girls is going up to the school. You cussing out the teachers. Why you cussing out the teachers? But now since COVID came along, you got to see why the teacher was calling you all the time about your badass goddamn child. Because your child bad as shit and they disrespectful. And instead of you checking your child and making sure that your child has respect when they're in school, you're cussing the teacher out, would make your child think that it's okay for them to act up because now my mom won't come up here and whoop your ass.
Well, because we live in a damn reality TV show world right now. It's all about getting your likes and shit on the Instagram and shit.
On the Instagram, right?
And getting lit and letting somebody have it because we have allowed the culture to become that. Here's what Nuruddin said. That video LeBron posted is a good representation of how our youth react when it comes to the police officers in our community. There was a time when a child would be asked what they wanted to be when they grew up. A lot would say a police officer, but not so much nowadays. They just want to be alive. Okay.
Yes, the little boys always said that. They wanted to be a police officer or a fireman. Yeah, you know what I mean? That was their thing.
That was because we had officers that they looked up to. See, there was somebody in that patted themselves after. There was always somebody in the family that was a police officer, that they looked up to and carrying on. And then it was always cool. I know when I was a kid, I don't know if y'all had that in Philly, but I know we had the Detroit Pigs. That they was a singing group out of the Detroit Police Department, and they created. They called it. We had the Detroit Pigs, child. They become a singer all the high school, and I found out that they still are active. They are still active. Wow. And they go singing and carrying on, and they make good with the children, and as a way of giving back. Remember McGruff, the crime dog, and
yes, we talked about that. My son was in the little. What's the thing that they had? They had the little thing after school for the kids.
Yeah.
Remember they fingerprinted the kids and made sure that everybody knew about stranger danger. Remember?
Okay.
They the kids.
We had the park ranger. Remember, only you can prevent forest fire. Okay.
Life used to be might be your own.
We had all of those things. Go ahead, Stan.
That stuff is budgeted out because, for instance, when I was at Waco, there were about 8 of us. And what we would do, we used to play basketball all the time. So we would go to the schools and we would play against the teachers, kind of Harlem Globetrotters thing. And the games, And they would charge the kids like $1 last 2 periods to come if they wanted to come. and we bring the kids in the game, but the school kept the money. We played in Waco, we played what was called the Pig Bowl. And Waco PD would play the sheriff's department, and it was full contact football. Baylor would come out and take everybody up. And we raised last time we did it, we raised like $15,000, and we split it. The sheriff's department got half, we got half, and then we gave it to charity. But the city came out and said, well, yeah, we had some broken fingers here and there, sprains, but they said, no, we're not going to cover that anymore if you get into the health plan. But I think going back to your point, you said, how did we get to where we are? In the late 70s, we had white flight when all the white people left, and they went to the suburbs. So that left most of those areas were typically on the river. They were downtown areas. They thought downtown was dying, and black people moved in there.
Right.
Okay? And so what we did, though, we don't own anything. We rent everything from our cars to our TVs to our houses. So when you don't have a sense of ownership to anything, you feel like you have no financial power. So what we're seeing right now in many cities is we're seeing what I call antebellum reconstruction. And in some places, it's full-blown colonization. Now these white folks can't get good Wi-Fi out in the suburbs, so now they all want to come
so
back.
now they want to come back and gentrify the city.
In the loft apartments. Well, we got people that live there. But guess what? Them poor people, they're not homeowners, they're tenants. I'm an owner, I'm going to sell it. So
yeah, and if your landlord want to sell the property because they know they could get more now, Philly is like that. Every time I go home, a place that we know is the hood, I see Becky and them walking around with their little poodles and the little Shih Tzus and stuff, and I'm like, hold up, where y'all come from? No, I'm here in Atlanta, but I'm from Philly.
Okay, I'm from Hamilton.
Oh, okay. I'm from Philly. Listen,
look behind me. What you see back there?
I can't see.
You don't see that helmet?
Oh, now, yes, I do. Come on, I bleed green, honey. I bleed green. Don't play with me. We talk about that all the time. Yeah, Tracy said we had POW. We had POW in Philly. Kids went to police outlet. They went to POW.
Yeah, we had the POW too. No, Regine said they police were portrayed to be good role models, so the children looked up to them. Now they are afraid. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give you a secret. I'm gonna give y'all a little known secret about places.
Because the bad. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah.
If you don't believe what I'm gonna tell you is true, then I tell anybody on here. You look at your city, you'll find out that what I'm going to tell you is exactly true. The men and women, for the vast majority, they care about those communities they're in because they have to be there.
Right.
But they go to work, particularly on midnight shifts, and they go into a lot of these areas that are blighted. They're asking, can we get the trash dumped? Can we get bathrooms in the park? And those officers are trying to do that. The city tells them no. Now, you'll see kids walking to school in high grass and weeds. Then all of a sudden, one day, a sidewalk appears. It doesn't go to anything.
Right.
It's just there. That is the first sign that gentrification is coming because 3 months later, they're erecting a building. See?
Okay.
And so what we do is instead of fighting the officers, and I said this on the last show, people need to avail themselves of the system, the city budget, that's public record. Go get the city budget and then sit down and see how much money does the police department get.
Right.
People go, that's a lot of money. Okay, well, now go to how much money does patrol get? That's the men and women you see on the street every day. Out of that patrol budget that's there, that's coats, bullets, jackets, boots, shoes, car, anything patrol needs. Then look at your training budget.
Right.
Well, put $200,000 in training. Okay, you got 3 shifts of officers with 2 elements on each shift. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you divide that 200 by 6. Now, once you get that and it gets to the element now has to divide it by 3 because 3 platoons make up the element.
Right.
So now divide that again because you got 10 guys on each squad that makes up the element. So then out of $200,000 that look like a whole lot in the training budget, you might have $150 for each officer if they want to go take a course.
Wow.
That's the math that they're not telling you. So I think when citizens understand, my people perish for lack of knowledge. If you avail yourself of the system, go get that city budget, sit down and look at it, and find out where your money is going. Everybody, I'm a taxpayer. So what? if you don't know where your money is going, see, when they say let's defund the police, that's fine. If you're looking at the budget and I say, well, what part of it do you want to defund?
Right. And that's where it is. Because I think that's the wrong word. I don't think you want to defund it.
I kept saying I don't think that's the right word. Why would you want to defund them? Because
about audit.
It just doesn't make sense. They need money to run. They need money to run. If you want to figure, let's just figure out a way that it can run better, but they need taken away from it is not going to help.
Exactly.
That's going to make it worse.
And it's easy. You audit them. And these police chiefs that are going to Florida for this chiefs conference where they all sit around and eat shrimp cocktails and stay in expensive hotels. If your department is saying that our crime is down, our police are doing a great job, but you're ordering new $6,000 sniper rifles 10 at a time, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, like
that's $60,000 that you could put over here into an after-school program or into something else. And I think the street officers would be 1,000% on board with that. And I'm gonna say this last part is when I hear people say, you know, we have a list of demands.
Right.
That's a wrong. How you come at people says a lot of whether you hear that policing is a hard-headed institution and it's resistant to change. We know that.
Right.
So when you come to them with a word like demand, they ain't trying to hear you.
Exactly.
Here's a better way to say it. Proposals. Now, I say this. If you want to get good, meaningful dialogue and rebuild your department and put forth a proposal, what you do is you walk in and you say, okay, here's our number one that we want. We want a whistleblower protection in place for local law enforcement the same way the feds have. Now, these you speak up without retribution. Then you say for number two, we want free, unlimited mental health.
Yes, God.
They need that.
You know, I like that.
Once you put those two out there, those officers who have been conditioned to believe you're the bad people are going to go, wait a minute, hold on. They put a proposal out. The first two things that they want are for us.
Right.
So there is a difference between street officers, detectives, and all those people got jobs and desks and sit in and buy the coffee pot. Those men and women are out there in the street in it. And a whole lot of don't have heavy winter coats or they're spending $150 on a pair of boots for work that they're not going to wear them nowhere else but work. So I think that if we looked at mental health and if you had whistleblower protection, that would do a lot to clean up the departments because officers don't speak up now because they got bills and mortgages and families and they can be fired. And if they don't need a reason, they'll make one up.
Get fired.
We talked about that a couple shows ago. Remember, we were saying we felt like police officers need the mental health because I worked in mental health for over 20 years. I think it should be a mandatory thing. Like at least once a month, you need to be able to go in and see the mental health counselor because you need to be able to decompress.
Exactly.
With all of that on your shoulders all the time, you dealing with not just what you got to go through at work. Everybody else got a personal life too. So you got to go through work, the craziness industry, the craziness what's going on in the world, and then with whatever your personal stuff is, and then I gotta be worried about if you gonna kill me because you might snap because you ain't had no place to release the frustrations and stuff that you got on your heart.
Exactly.
People have looked at cops and those other shows that used to be on, which I never liked them, because they look at TV. You know, I mean, I could go work. I've worked a suicide of a kid that I knew. And then when I'm done with that, 4 hours later, I may be sent to a fatality wreck.
Right.
And I go home at the end of my shift, and my first call tomorrow is a 3-year-old that's been sodomized. Right. And so all of this stuff, it's not TV where you go and you say, Sarge, you know, this is pretty rough. Take the rest of the week off and it's paid. It doesn't work that way.
No,
So you're walking around with the department saying, be blue, be blue, be blue. You got the community calling you a hero. And somewhere in the midst of all of this, you try to be what everybody wants and you lose touch with who you are. For me, my greatest therapy was just being in the hood, just shopping, sitting in the park, because you could vent. And these people saw me as I'm Stan, who was a cop, and not just being a cop. So I was human to them, because when you retire and look in the mirror and you know, you do 25, 30 years and you can have all the plaques and awards, but your buddies stop calling. And then you say, well, who am I? I'm not this hero. I'm not what everybody wanted me to be. And the sad part is, I don't even know who I am anymore. And that's why some of the officers take their life when they retire.
Here's one of the things that I know with working with police officers, and then I work in security. So it's the same, but yet different. It's a little different because we don't have the power that police officers have. Okay, we're eyes and ears, and like I tell everybody, honey, we just paid snitches. But at the same time, what it is that when we have officers in the community, it makes you. It puts a face on it, because if you're able to sit down and to not become desensitized to what's going on, like you said, it's being human, but at the same time of being human, you can sit down here and be like, that was some bullshit that just went down or whatever. You may not be able to talk about the case in depth because it may be ongoing, but you're able to sit down there and get that community feedback, and you say, man, no, that was effed up, or whatever the case may be. And they can see that you're not trying to run game on them and hide behind a badge. Also, one of the things about that blue wall, because I learned this talking to a police officer, and that there is, you want to make sure somebody got your back out there on the streets. So if they feel as though you run your mouth too much, you be out on a call, they won't your backup. They'll sit down there and conveniently not answer a call and not come and back you up.
Right.
Okay. Because of you, or they feel as though that's your payback, and this, that, and the other. And that there is something. I'm gonna read these couple of comments, and then before we go, I'm gonna have y'all do something fun. We're gonna lighten it up just a bit.
Okay.
No routine. Just like some of the companies offer positions that are difficult for people of color to travel to, these house developers, landlords make sure that they put their homes financially outside of the reach of certain people. That there is true. Sarah, you said, well, I've heard. What about sensitivity training? Is there such a thing in the police force? That's a good question.
It is. They were just talking about that. That's why I answered her. But because I think they had it on Good Morning America the other day. I can't remember which force this was, but they were asking about, they asked, whichever one it was, is one of the ones that's in trouble right now. And they had said it's mandatory for them right now, right? And then they went into the police officers that they were interviewing, and they asked the one lady, he said, well, have you taken it? She said, I don't recall taking that. So then when he went back to talk to whoever was in charge, they said, this officer said they don't recall taking it. And they said, well, everybody had to take it as mandatory. So if everybody had to take it as mandatory, it wasn't that memorable.
How about
because that's what she said. She said, well, if I took it, I don't remember taking it.
But mandatory training is knee-jerk reactive training that I'm going to tell you now. Officers don't like it; they're resistant to it, no matter what the topic is. Because when Sandra Bland was killed in Texas, the first thing our department rushed down, oh, we're going to have this real quick cultural diversity training. Well, there were some people in there doodling, writing, because the officers knew I had all the reason. It wasn't training. The city was covering their ass and liability just to be able to sit on.
Right, to say that we had it. That's why the lady was like, if we had it, I don't remember.
But we can't confuse training with education or restructuring, because you cannot train someone to be sensitive. They need to be educated and broken down, and you can't do that in an 8-hour class. And I think that's where policing has really missed the mark. Training is when I go out to the range and fire that gun and get 45 or 50, and I've done it for 20 years. I'm going to be out there 15, 20 minutes and I'm done. That's training. But when you start talking about the human psyche and deconstructing people's personal beliefs or cultural differences, you can't do that in 6 to 8 hours. And I think cities have to buckle down and say, we're going to have a 2-week course in the academy. That's all this is going to be on. And then you will have 40 hours mandated of sensitivity/cultural diversity training annually to keep your license. And so that is for 40 hours. Is it going to change anybody perfectly? No. But when you got to sit there 40 hours, you can ignore the first day. The second day, you're not trying to hear it. The third day, you're going to pick up a little bit. But then to me, that's how you build a better department, is by investing the time. If it costs money, so what? These lawsuits are costing money.
Right. And our country found a lot of bullshit to spend money on and waste money on.
Okay. Now let's have a little bit of fun because we're down to the last few minutes, and I'm gonna let you guys go. It's Black Music Month. Black Music Month. I want y'all to sit down here. Give me some of your favorite artists, some of your favorite Black artists, or if you feel as though some cats need to really get up on somebody. Y'all missed the first. I had to do something, and I didn't put myself together. I had to go get something. So I played a song by Crystal, a group called Crystal. It's called "I Might Fall in Love with You." Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all this up on YouTube, and I played it, but I'm not gonna get into playing any more music right now because they might try to ding us and carry it on.
Oh yeah, they will ding us. You can't do that. Just tell me.
But I want y'all. It's Black. We want to celebrate Black music and carrying on. And I'm going to say it like this because I know sometimes we have white artists or whatever that are considered to be Black music because they play it on our stations, and we know we groove to it. And I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't. But if you want to get politically and get right and say, okay, we're gonna keep this ours, we'll do it to Black artists. Okay.
It's Black Music Month. I'm going to represent Philly and my family, and I'm just going to shout out and do a good rest in peace to my uncle John Whitehead and my other playful Jimmy McFadden, and we're going to say ain't no stopping us now because that was the thing. It's my uncle, and that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
All the young kids that don't know.
I got two. My age gonna come out. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Come on.
Wow! Yes.
I just watched the Ohio Players Unsung yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Now listen, and I'm gonna say this because she's here. Miss Sarah Dash is here, and y'all know that Patty is my mama. Okay. Patty, my mama. I claim Sarah to be my big sister because she's done something for me, child, that the children y'all will never understand.
Meech, I gotta confess something though. When you put her comment up there a little while ago, and you know, I got my big screen, I'm looking at it. The comment came up. I saw that picture of her. I couldn't even read what she was saying. Didn't hear you read it. I locked in on that picture. I was like, what?
Yes. She said, I represent women groups. Come on, Aunt Sarah. Come on, Sarah.
Come on now. She represents the girl group. Come on now.
Let's say something else so a picture come up again.
If she represents the girl group, y'all know I'm going to have to go with Philly again and take it back in the day and still show my age. But shout out to Sister Sledge. Okay?
Okay.
We are family, honey.
Because and of course the group label with Patty, Sarah, and Nona.
Come on, Patty.
Sarah, I was just listening to one of y'all live concerts that y'all did. It was a TV concert that y'all did, and we were Black Power back in the day. I'm trying to think of what day it was. It was the one where y'all did four women. Y'all did that on this particular one show, and you did Aunt Sarah. I'm okay, yeah. So I just played that, but also I got to give a shout out to the daughter of Miss Patty LaBelle, honey, who I believe Patty and Stephanie Mills are mother and daughter. Who the godmother of soul and the princess of soul, honey.
Come on, Miss Stephanie.
Stephanie Mills, baby. Okay. Stephanie Mills. Soul.
Y'all don't want me to start going down that line, baby, because I got Miss Regina Bell, honey. Miss Anita Baker, baby. Look, y'all don't want to do this with me. Miss Michelle Farrell, honey. Y'all don't want to do this with me.
Don't do it. See, she remember the show. It was called The Soul Show. And the show was, because he show said that. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, girl. I love child. Oh my God. I have music, I believe, is God's perfect language. Okay, because it sits down there. I don't care what it is that you're going through, good, bad, or indifferent. There's a song for it. Okay, there is a song.
There's something that's going to make you happy, make you sad, get you through it. There's always going to be something for it. Okay. I just want the people, if they're going to be sampling our music and our parents' music, to make sure, yes, Miss Ann Nesby and Miss Lettucey, Miss Fantasia, yes, God. Yes, God.
Paul said,
Miss Kiki White, let's not leave the young babies out.
Paul, you better know Steph. You know Steph. You better say it. Here comes somebody else from Philly, old Teddy P.
Yes, Tracy. Come on.
Okay.
Come on with Mr. Petty. The whole sound of Philadelphia, honey. Don't do it.
This for you, baby.
And we ain't gonna forget our old kids.
I'm on cloud nine. I'm done. I'm on cloud nine.
That's my sister. I love it. Now, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we could go on and on and on about black music and carrying on because there's
and that got to be a whole show.
Because, you know, we ain't said the Queen Aretha. We ain't said Natalie Cole, honey. We ain't said Gladys. We haven't said Dionne Warwick.
I was getting ready to say, Auntie Shady, you know, Dionne. Dionne
right
Shady.
there. You know, those are my big TTs, okay?
Aunt Dionne is shady, baby. Her and Aunt Patty, they can read you for filth.
Okay. So we could go on and on, but I'm going to encourage all of you to get into your music collection and carry on. If you have the Smokey Robinson, somebody put Smokey Robinson up in here. You better understand the tracks of my tears, baby.
Wait a minute, real quick, Meech. Wait a minute, real quick. If we're going to give it to some of the fellows, let's go to People Bryson, Jeffrey Osborne. Let's go to Kim. Let's go to Will Downing. Do y'all want to do this with me today?
Okay, we gotta. Now you know we got to give it to Sam Cooke and Luther.
Marvin.
Hello, Gerald and Gerald.
Well, are you saying hello, Lionel? Since you're gonna keep saying hello.
Come on, Sarah. You better come on.
Yes, Luther. Luther.
Okay, Luffa. Luther.
Luther.
Okay. Did y'all say Bootsy? You better know some Bootsy. I met Bootsy. Oh, I met me some Bootsy, honey. I met Bootsy Collins. That's y'all says, okay, Stevie Wonder, Jerry Butler. You better, oh, you know what? We who ain't say, Bobby motherfucking Womack.
Did you pass out? You all right, twin? Twin, you okay?
Baby. Oh.
Now I got to bring in another one of my favorites though.
Come on, Stan, what you got?
Tupac.
Come on.
Prolific before his time, carrying the message. Tupac was the real.
If we're gonna go with Tupac, then we need to bring in KRS-One too.
Oh, you talking straight knowledge coming that way. Public Enemy. Oh,
come on now.
Kim is another bad MF.
I said Kim, Paul. I said Kim. Okay. Gerald, yes, Gerald.
We can sit down here. Yes, Miss Sarah. She said,
hey, we need a whole show for this.
I know.
Just rattle them all.
But me, can I stop myself before I leave real quick? I got a good one.
Yeah, go ahead, do it. We sorry. We get caught up in it.
Somebody want to know because there was a comment earlier. They want to know where you are because they said that was Eric Buckner. He wanted to know where you are because he liked your commentary and wanted to follow you.
Okay, well, it's really Stan Mason on Facebook, and y'all will know. You see the little logo, you'll see it on Facebook. StanMason.com is my website. blogtalk.radio.com/Stan Mason. The show's Behind the Blue Curtain. If you Google me, I'm gonna pop up on Google straight up, and I love it because I did it all on my own. No commercials, no sponsors, no GoFundMe's. I don't want your donation. I don't want your tithes. I don't want your offers. We bring straight. We come hard. This week I got Kellyanne Gray. She's a councilwoman out of Fort Worth.
Oh, dang.
This sister's speaking to power up there, so she's going to be on. I got another brother, Vincent Montague. Vincent is president of the Black Shield, which is a Cleveland Black Police Officers Association.
Oh,
so we're going straight in.
Make sure that I get on this so we can listen to it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, girl. Listen, I've been on Stan's show a couple times trying to know their asses out. Okay, because they don't know what they Stan like
I want to disrupt the show. I'm gonna just come listen. Look, I don't want disrupt stuff. I'm gonna just come in and listen.
To wake some children up because especially when we get to talk about transgender issues and carrying on. Oh, wait a minute, because I got to say this.
Hurry up! It's 10:52.
We just had a transgender murder last night.
Last night?
Yeah, they found her last night. I got the call. In Decatur, I believe. Her name was Kimora Elliott. She was and Maddie knows her because she does some work with
Maddie. Are we sure about what kind of crime is? Was it a hate crime?
Not exactly sure, but we're trying to get all the details and carrying on. It sounds like it may have been a trick gone bad, but the way the details are coming in to me, this sounds like she may have known the dude and he was trying to rob her and end up killing her. Okay. So we, I want to put that out there because in the midst of all of what we're going through and things of that nature, a lot of this violence that we have, everybody want to talk about black on black crime and carrying on. We're going to have that. We still got that internalized cleaning to do. But in that cleaning, let us not dismiss these trans murders because they are black too. And they are murdered, whether it's by police, whether it's by whatever. We cannot let these cases go cold. And that there is part of the reason why the voices have to be heard. So Kimora Elliott, we sending up love for you and things of that.
Yes. So, all Black Lives Matter.
All Black Lives Matter. Okay.
Like, come on, stop subbing who we are.
Right.
This is one thing that we have to do all together. And we can't be subbing inside of the sub. We can't do that right now.
Exactly.
We're time for that.
So on that note, we're gonna let you guys go ahead on and get back to your evening. Big Red, you got a couple of words that you want to say because he done came back in.
It's him up in here.
Yeah, he done came back in. He had to get it together. And took his medicine.
You gonna come back when it's time to say good night. He done did the Carol Burnett on us. He gonna do this.
I've been listening. Again, it was great meeting you, Stan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're gonna be listening to you.
If you got a fan, I'll be listening in, Stan.
Okay.
Yes.
Just make sure if you got your kids there,
I'm gonna come do a show. I'm gonna just come listen.
Make sure you guard the kids.
Okay, right. No, listen.
All my kids are grown.
From the hip. So at this particular point, honey,
The curse jar.
Change.
Yeah, that's your first job.
Sarah,
I'm grown, so baby, I can't afford the curse jar no more. I used to because I used to watch my mouth when they was around. Baby, I can't afford it right now because too much stuff going on. They might want to think that I'm uneducated, but I'm very well educated. But right now, I don't want to speak educated. I want to be able to curse some people the hell out. I'm just telling you, it's what it is.
All right. Well, on that note, everybody, let me let you guys get back to your lives and carry it on because it's time for me to have my nightcap.
Yeah. Well, it looked like he was already drinking it.
Thank y'all for
You're welcome here anytime. You already know that. And things of that nature. So, darlings, finish all of your crumpets because I just finished my patty pie. And finish all the because tea has been dished, darling. And you've been dishing tea right here, honey, with Big Meats and Aunt Nikki and the big guy, ally Big Red fellow over there. Honey, if you love me, tell a friend. Baby, if you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this. One way, shape, style, form, or fashion, everything that we are doing over here will move forward, darling. So on that note,
good night, everybody. Thanks for all the comments. It's black music off.
That's what that patty pie do to you.
Yeah.